Welcome to Retrobot, the YouTube channel where we feed a friendly space robot a diet of pure nostalgia. This is a late night chill stream. Well, it's not really all that late yet, but who knows how long I'm going to be working. And there's not really a lot of structure. I am continuing on my Making Della Duck project, and for anyone who has missed the update video or the first Della Duck chill stream, the goal here, let's see, I've got stuff everywhere. The goal here is to take one of these Ducktales Donald Duck figures and turn him into his sister Della, because unfortunately, they never made a figure for Della. The toy line was canceled before they got to Della, which is just a travesty. I don't understand, because I mean, the show is insanely popular and insanely good. I would think that making action figures for the show would just be like printing money. Now, I will say that I have minor criticisms of some of the existing toys. Like, for instance, you have Donald Duck here, and he looks, you know, very pleasant and calm. I feel like a Donald Duck figure should have, like, an angry face, you know, at least as an option. An extra head that has an angry face and, you know, maybe the ability to get into a put up your dukes pose, because, I mean, that's a really big part of his shtick. He gets mad and he starts jumping around and he does that thing and you know, wah, 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 wah. So you know, that's why don't I get that with this? I mean, let's face it, Donald Duck never looks this calm. He just, I mean, yeah, he looks happy, but he only looks this calm in pictures of Donald Duck. When you see him in animation, anything but. He has a sad life. And so, but nonetheless, it's good that they made this, because Donald looks a lot like Della. And so that is why I've been able, with the addition of some tediously crafted hair and a scarf and some shorts pieces, to get something that is looking very Della-esque at this point. So I haven't really done much since the last update. In fact, literally, the only work that I've done since the last update is while I've been sitting here waiting for the clock to turn to 6 to start the scheduled live stream. That's it. And that has been to sand the hair, which, here, I'll show you here. So we've got the hair. I've done some sanding just to kind of get that shape nice and smooth and true. Get out all those little divots. You can see that there's still a little divot right there. And I'd really love to get that out. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that out or not, but I'd like to. And then smooth out some of these detail lines in the back and smooth out the hair. You know, get it to look as pristine as the quality of this figure right here, and you know, get it in all of its glory. Because, you know, I want it to, essentially the goal is to try to make something that is much like an actual manufactured figure as I can with Sculpting and Kitbashing. So that is where I'm at, and I'm gonna, let's see. So I've got my setup here. Okay, you see me looking that way, and the reason I'm looking that way is because while I'm working on this side of the house, my monitor is on the wall, way over there. Now, it's a big TV, but it's way over there. And so I'm trying to see stuff. And, oh, I see, wait, I see Uh, it looks like Aaron Murray. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to hit the zoom on my web browser. And that might make my my text big enough to see what's going on. Because I want to be able to see people's comments. And, okay, yes, Aaron Murray. Hey, Aaron, thank you for joining me, and thank you for the compliments. Aaron says that it's looking good, and Nathan Fillion is here. Hello, Nathan! And Nathan says that I have an awesome shirt. You know what, Nathan? You are correct. And anything that I don't smooth out on this does count as a happy accident. Oh, yeah, that is better. Okay, so, yeah, I'm seeing... I'm able to read text. And, oh, Mark Lungo is here. Hey, Mark. Good to see you. Thank you for stopping in. And he says, sorry I missed your second Della session. You know, it wasn't even a session. It was just an update video. I recorded it, and then I posted it. It wasn't even live. So you have not missed anything at all. We've just got... I'm working on the hair. And so I'm going to continue working on the hair, but I have had a lot of people that have commented and have commented on social media, and they've been talking about this project, and I'd like to thank everybody for all of your enthusiasm about this project. I would have never guessed. Yeah, see, Dudley is very excited. Yeah. Do you want to come up here? Come on. Oh, you want to come up on that side? Oh, you want to get in the cabinet. He's gonna get in the cabinet and make a lot of noise, and that's it. But yeah, a lot of people have taken a lot of interest, and thank you for your interest. I would have never guessed, but amongst some of the feedback that we've been getting, some people did mention wondering if she was going to have a detachable robot leg. I know. I'm shocked too. I'm not. I've always planned for her to have a removable robot leg, and that is still in the works. We're just not quite there yet. I want to get the hair sorted. You know, that the hair is the biggest obstacle, and then the bomber jacket and the shorts. And once I have shorts on there, then it's time to work on the leg. So I'm just kind of working my way down. The other thing is that I did not realize this, but Della's beak is shorter than Donald's. They are almost identical twins, but not exactly. And apparently her beak, and you don't notice it from the front, you only notice it from the side. And so people have been asking me if I'm planning on shortening the beak here. And I've thought about it. I have thought about it. And I have decided not to. And part of it is because I just don't wanna. And I feel like I'm allowed to decide to do things or not to do things just because I don't wanna. But I have some logic. At least, no, I have some justifications, and they're going to sound great. So here, let me go to the side camera again so we can look at the figure. So you look at the shape of the bill, and you see how it flares out towards the end. So if I'm going to shorten this bill, there's a couple ways that I could do it. One would be to cut it off in the middle and then take it away from the middle and then just shorten everything. And that way the end maintains its shape and it'll still look like this very, very nicely crafted cartoon replica of the character's head. Of course, the downside with that is that once I glue a thin piece of plastic like this, it will forever be a weak spot. And I don't like that. You know, it's not so bad when you've got a piece that's shorter or more bulbous and there's a wide gluing surface. This is going to have a gluing surface as narrow as that beak. and so I don't want to weaken that. Now, of course, the other option would be to sand it from the front and just kind of resculpt the beak here. And that wouldn't be terrible. You know, that would be a pretty straightforward way of doing it, and I think that I could do it. But what's going to happen is the further that I go back, the more that I'm going to sand into this taper. And so the beak is not only going to become shorter, but it's also going to become more narrow. And when the beak becomes more narrow, it's going to look less like Della Duck. Now, of course, then I could try to build up the beak on the sides with glue and baking soda, and I could do that. And then essentially at that point, I'm resculpting the entire beak. But at that point, that's where it's like, okay, there's a lot of work involved. You know, that's a lot of extra work. And I'm just not sure that the benefit of having a slightly shorter beak is worth all that effort. I don't feel like it's worth all that effort, for me personally. So I've just decided that, you know, it's if I were gonna make it perfect, then yeah, I absolutely would shorten the beak, and that's probably the way I would do it. I would probably sand it down along the end, build up some material on the sides so that I could still flare it out and get that proper taper. But I want to have this done for Monica's birthday next week. And I wanted to have this done for Christmas, so I'm already 3 months late. But I don't want to be late for two special occasions, and I just don't think that it's going to be worth the effort. You know, maybe down the road, maybe for next birthday, Monica says, "Hey, you know what? I really wish my Della Duck had a shorter beak." I can't imagine her saying that, but if she says that, I'll do it. So yeah, no short beak on Della. I know, disappointment. But if you're planning on doing this project, because these figures are not hard to come by and they're not terribly expensive, so for all of you out there who may want a Della Duck and may want to try this, you're seeing how I'm doing it. You can absolutely do the exact same stuff, maybe do it better. For those of you who have a 3D printer and some 3D modeling skills, this hair, yes, it's organic, but it's not nearly as difficult of a shape as it might look. And I bet that you could model that, or you might even be able to find a computer model of Della Duck, rapid prototype it, and then cut off the hair, because rapid prototyped parts usually come out with lots of ribbing, and the quality is very rarely fantastic. So you know, you could rapid prototype a Della Duck and then swap out as many of the pieces with Donald as you can. And then, you know, you have your rapid prototyped hair, and maybe it has all those little ribs, but once you've got the form, then you can go in and you can sand it. You can fill it with, I use a lot of super glue, and then I'll fill it in with just baking soda. It's a trick that I learned years ago, that the baking soda will kick the super glue, and it creates a really nice sandable surface. It acts as a filler. I do that for a lot of my kit bashing and model making. Just don't breathe it. The fumes from the super glue are bad. The baking soda is bad, and it will get up into your sinuses. It will cause your nose to run. It will run down your throat. It will irritate your throat. You will begin coughing, and you won't be able to stop. You will feel like you've got the flu. Okay, I've had this happen. When I first started using this trick, that happened to me every time I was working on my Transformers toys, because I was working real close and I was inhaling all of that bad stuff and all of that particulate. And then usually about several hours into it, I would start getting a runny nose and I would start coughing. And then for the next couple days, I would feel terrible because I'm just, sneezing and coughing. And once you start sneezing and coughing a lot, then your body, your chest starts getting sore from all the convulsing and everything. So you feel sick. I didn't have a fever, but I felt terrible, and I kept going to the doctor, and they would put me on antibiotics, and then it would happen again and again and again. And then later on, I made the connection that, while I was working on another Kitbash, and I'm sitting there and I start feeling that familiar feeling. And I start getting sick, and then I realize I'm breathing in the baking soda. And it was about a year after that I was watching an episode of Dirty Jobs. Does anybody remember that show? It was an awesome show. And there was an episode where he was at a sodium bicarbonate facility. It's like a processing plant or something like that. And they were showing the outtakes at the end of the episode. And he says, "Oh my God, my nose is running." And the guy next to him says, "Yeah, that's the baking soda. It'll do that." And it's like, Mike Rowe, why didn't you tell me? You would have saved me a lot of trips to the doctor if only I had known. But so yeah, apparently that's a thing. Baking soda will make your nose run. It will get into your sinuses. It will do bad stuff. So let's see. I'm missing comments here. Let's see. Oh, Stark Jedi is here. This is looking great so far. I am sad no official Della merch. I need some kind of merch of her. You know what? Okay, this is shameless. Stark Jedi, I think I'm reading that right. The text is really, really tiny, so I apologize if I'm getting your name wrong. But it just so happens, I have this page open in my browser over here, and so I'm gonna share it. Let's see. Let's go to the internet view. So this is TeePublic. And number one robot, that is Monica's number one, or that is Monica's page. And TeePublic makes stuff. And she's got a bunch of her designs here, which you can get on shirts. And I actually have, let's see, she has this one. This one's fantastic. And I have this one. I really wanted this one. This is the Della Duck Escaping the Moon shirt. So if you're interested in t-shirt merch, please feel free to visit TeePublic and look for number one robot, because all sorts of really great artwork. Because Monica is amazing and she does amazing stuff. So number one robot at TeePublic, and that's a thing. Is that too shameless? Am I being too shameless? You know what? I don't care, because Monica is amazing, and I don't mind bragging about her. And so yeah, please feel free if you want shirts, then they've got shirts. They do other stuff. We got a big pillow. I think they do towels. I think they'll print on just about anything made of fabric. I think you can also get mugs. I don't know much about the website, so I think that they'll print on pretty much anything. I think they'll print on my cat. I don't want them to print on my cat. That's cruel, and cruelty to animals is wrong. But they might do it. They don't really do it. I'm making up stuff. I'm an untrustworthy narrator. So, anyway, I was looking through the comments, and let's see. So Mark Lungo was saying that the official merch didn't really sell that well, which, I'm just going to point out that, yeah, we got a good Donald Duck, but this has limited play value because it doesn't really give us the interactions with Donald. It's hard to imagine, to pretend that this Donald is going wah, 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 and kind of losing his crap over whatever life has thrown at him. That honestly, every temper tantrum that Donald has ever had, I have been completely behind. It is a sad thing. He has a sad life. But yeah, I wish that the figures had more play value. That's my biggest criticism. They're beautiful figures. Don't get me wrong. They're very nicely done. They're really nicely sculpted. The quality is good. The joints hold their positions. They look great from every angle. It's just that I want more. That's the bottom line. I want more out of my DuckTales figure. And I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they could have put all sorts of little extras, like an extra angry face for Donald and accessories that they could interact with and lots of stuff like that, and they still wouldn't sell well. Maybe I would have added cost to the line that would have made it less successful. But all I can tell you is my impressions of the toys when I see them and I interact with them and I think, oh, this is really cool. I'm so happy to have this guy. I wish I had this. So that's that. So anyway, thank you everybody for showing up. I really appreciate that you guys are kind of joining in and kind of keeping me company while I do this stuff, because it's something that honestly, if I wasn't doing it in front of a camera, I would be doing it in front of the TV. So we'd put on like episodes of Luther. Has anybody seen Luther? Luther is such a good show. It stars Idris Elba. And he's so much younger in that show, and he's kind of a bad cop. He's a good cop, and he's got a big heart, but he does things that are wrong, that are just wrong. He gets himself and everybody around him into trouble, or everybody around him gets him into trouble. That actually is more the case, because it's not like he seeks all of the problems that he encounters. He tries to do his job the best way that he can, and then some jerk, I'm using that word for lack of better words, I'm trying to keep this live stream PG, some jerkwad has to go and start threatening to kill people or other horrendous violent acts, and it is a violent show. It's not a family show. So Nathan Fillion, you should not have your girls watching Luther. But he is amazing. Everybody in the show is amazing. It's a very good show. The only thing that I've noticed, I've watched these episodes before, and I've always enjoyed it because Idris Elba is just so compelling. He has a commanding presence on the screen, and everything that he says just drips with charisma. It's like, that's not right, and is it? No, that's not right. I don't think that's right at all. Everything's not right. Whenever, it's like, oh, we're in a crime scene here. Oh, there's blood everywhere. There's a gun in the middle of the floor, but that's not right, is it? What's not right about it, Luther? Well, it's a BBC show, so everybody has an English accent. But that's, I mean, he's just so much fun. And the show takes a lot of unexpected twists and turns. One thing that I have noticed is that it seems that in the Lutherverse, there are no other cops. Like there are so many times when it seems that if a main character can't get to place X to catch bad guy Y, then bad guy Y can just run free. Including when bad guy is Luther running from other police. It's like, as long as his pals in the office aren't there, then there's no other cops in England that can, like, stop somebody or pull them over or block somebody with a car. There are no other cops. There's only Luther and the people working directly with him. You pretty much never see other police show up, and that's something that once you start noticing that, it's hard to unsee. But it's still a fantastic show. It's one of those things where, like with anything on TV, you have a suspension of disbelief and you go with it because it's entertaining and it's good. Nonetheless, I'm doing more talking than I am working. Oh, I shouldn't do that. I've got to get this done. I've got a week. So I need to, I guess, a little bit more than a week, but it's coming fast. So, I'll just show you a little technique that I'm using right now. So you'll notice that I've got my sandpaper and I've got it folded over, and that gives me a little bit of extra thickness. And then what you'll see me do here a lot is I'll curve the sandpaper with my fingers, creating the curve that I want, and then I'll use that to go over different parts, and I'll change that curve depending on the shape of where I'm trying to sand. And the reason that I'm doing that, for people who've not done model making, or maybe don't do a whole lot of sculpting, is that it makes, for something that's this tiny, it makes it as though the sandpaper were a sanding block. When you do automotive repair, when you're doing body repair, and you have to, you put some Bondo on and you sand it down. You don't just use sandpaper and sand into your Bondo. Okay, if you do that, you'll get it to feel smooth, but it's going to be very friendly, okay? And what I mean by that is it's going to be waving at you the whole time, because there's going to be all these little undulations, because with a large surface like a body panel on a car, the sandpaper gets into all those little undulations, and so as you're sanding unevenly. And so the way to prevent that is you use a sanding block, and I usually like to use insulation foam. It's like the pink foam that it's polystyrene foam, and not the beaded stuff. The beaded stuff is the beads break off. It's a big mess. The insulation foam is what you want, and sheets. Like you can get a sheet at the hardware or at the building store for $20, and it's a 4x8 sheet. So it's best to see if you can get a broken piece, or maybe if you know a bunch of other crafty people, maybe all go in and chip in $2.50, and everybody gets a cut of that sheet, and you'll have enough sanding blocks to last you for years off of 1/8 of that sheet. But you take your sanding block and you wrap it in your sandpaper, and what that does is that keeps the sandpaper from going into those little undulations, and that gives you a more consistent, smooth surface. And the nice thing about the foam is that since cars are very rarely perfectly flat anywhere, then you can cut the foam with a little bit of a curve, so that if you're going around a fender or something like that, you can make your foam conform more to the shape of that curve, and then your sandpaper conforms to that curve, and you can get some nice shapes. But on tiny figures like this, I don't need a sanding block because the paper is already so thick that it has rigidity. And so by folding it over, I'm just making it a little bit more rigid. And then by giving it the curve that I want, I get it to give me a truer, more consistent curve. And that means that when I paint it, or when I put clear coat on it and you look at it in the light, you get those nice reflections where, you know, you get the stereotypical little diamond shape, you know, those arced, curved lines that look like a square that's been neatly stretched and pulled, and it makes it look really, really nice rather than being faceted and dimpled. So that is why you'll see that I do this a lot with when I'm sanding, just to try and match those shapes and get them to be nice and consistent. And it does work. It does work. Now, I'm going to say this, and most of you are probably going to say, yeah, duh, I already knew that. But obvious, well, not obvious, because for people who don't do this kind of stuff, if you've never done it, then how would you know it? You start with your rougher grit sandpapers, and then you work incrementally to your finer grit sandpapers. And the way that you know the grit is there's numbers on the back of each piece of sandpaper. I don't know if you can read that because my browser window is covering it. Wait, here. Oh, hey, Joy's here! Hi, Joy! Thank you for joining us. And she says, hello, Clay. Love the Bob Ross. Thank you. Thank you. Bob Ross is very popular. And so, yeah, you see that the paper has a number. So the higher the number, the finer the grit. The lower the number, the rougher the paper. So, you know, earlier I was using this 320. And now I've got a piece of 500, and then I've got a piece of 1,000 here, and I've got some 2,000, and we'll see how fine I go. I'm not always as patient with my model making as I probably should be, but for right now I'm on the 500, and so we are just going back and forth, keeping that consistent shape. And here's the other thing that I'm doing. Change the direction. So when you're sanding these things, don't just constantly go in one direction. And I know that that's hard because there's usually one direction that's very natural and feels comfortable. And for me, that's this one. And you can see that I'm going back and forth like this, and that's sort of the natural way that my hand wants to go around this shape. But that won't give me that will make things smooth this way, but it won't do anything to correct undulations this way. And so then you go in that direction. And it's best to do it in 8 directions, like an 8-direction D-pad on a game controller, go in all 8 directions. And when you can do that, then you will get out 99.9 of the undulations just by making sure to on larger things use a sanding block, and on smaller things conform your paper to the shape that you want, and then go in your 8 directions. So you see, this is my second direction. And now I'm going to go diagonal. So here is a diagonal that way. And now I'm going to go in the diagonal this way. And that's what I'm doing. That's not looking too bad. So here, let me show you on the other camera. Let's side camera. So I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, just look at the difference in the back there where I've sanded versus where I don't. You can see all the little divots and dimples and scratches that are here that I've gotten out for the most part here. So that is working really, really well. So it's pretty exciting. I did get an adult beverage. No secret words. There'll be secret words tomorrow, but I guess they're not really secret words, but they're drinking words. And so tomorrow, so just in case anybody hasn't found out, we've been trying to let everybody know. So tomorrow is Dawn's birthday. My friend Dawn, who co-hosts the show usually about once a month. It seems like that's what's been happening for the last few months. And you know him in the chat as Brick Woad. And Brick Woad, if you ever met Brick Woad in like EverQuest or something, he would be wearing yellow armor so that people could say, follow the yellow Brick Woad. I know. But anyway, so Dawn, aka Brick Woad, his birthday is tomorrow. And so he is coming up here. He is going to be pretty much the main host of tomorrow's live stream, and I'm going to take up the Ed McMahon position. And we're going to be talking about Axis and Allies games and looking at different versions. And you know, this is something that Dawn has been wanting to do for a long time, and that's actually why I'm in here. Because my other setup in the other room, there's just not enough room to show a board game. So we moved a lot of stuff around. I mean, my computer is still in the other room, but we have run USB extensions and HDMI cords over to this room so that we could have the front-facing camera and our side camera, and we also have here. I'm going to show you this. We also have the overhead cam, which I think it's frozen. Is it frozen? It seems to be frozen. Okay, well, the overhead cam is not necessarily doing us a lot of favors. My computer struggles with 3 cameras. I have learned this, and it was working the other day, and I'm gonna have to fight with it to get it to work again. I might have to do a system restart. That sometimes helps. But yeah, so we'll hopefully have the 3 views and be able to show all these things. It's going to be a lot of fun, and yeah, we've been wanting to be able to show games anyway, but after that live stream, then all this stuff is going back in the other room, and we're going to get back to our usual format, at least until, I know I keep saying it, but someday I am going to build my studio. And then that's going to be a whole new ball game, because you're going to see some awesome stuff. I'm just saying, it's going to be okay. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. It'll be good. It'll be fun. So that is coming up tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and I have to apologize, because I know that it would be more considerate for our international viewers to give it in the GMD whatever, and I think it's GMD minus 5 hours, but I might be wrong, and because I'm always wrong, and then I don't know whether that takes into account daylight savings time or not, I just figure, you know what, if I say Eastern Standard Time, people know that I'm in the United States, because I'm obviously an American. I am the American mutt. I talk American. So anybody anywhere else in the world that sees this YouTube channel is going to know, yeah, that guy's an American. And so when I say Eastern Standard Time, if they don't know what that is for their time, they can go into the internet and they can say, United States Eastern Standard Time equals what? And they can figure it out, and it will be great. So, and then I don't have to try and figure it out and maybe get it wrong and then misinform people, because I never want to misinform people. Like, that is one of my greatest fears, is telling somebody something that's just wrong, giving bad advice. And that's kind of a bad thing, because I give a lot of advice. I show people how to do stuff. My other channel, for those of you who don't know, I actually have 2 YouTube channels, even though I haven't posted anything new on my other channel since I started Retrobot. It's not that I've given up on the other channel. I fully intend to continue working on the videos, but building a channel from scratch is a tremendous amount of work. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And building up Retrobot has been all-consuming. And right now we're in that uncomfortable place where we're too small to be monetized, but YouTube has changed their policies, meaning that YouTube may decide to put ads on the channel, but we won't receive any revenue. So my viewers can get annoyed by the ads, but there's no benefit to it other than somebody at YouTube makes money. And I feel like that's wrong. Just because, if they have these various qualifications for channels to have to meet in order to become monetized, so that they can kind of weed out the junk channels from legitimate channels. But if they're going to put ads on channels that haven't met those qualifications yet, then what's the point? I mean, so what? The channel's just not good enough for the creator to make money, but it's good enough for YouTube to make money. How does that work? That just doesn't seem right. And here's the other thing. Right now, I have no control over what kind of ads they put on. And what I mean is, if they decided to put in mid-roll ads, I personally hate mid-roll ads. And on my other channel, which is monetized, I always disabled the mid-roll ads. So, because, like, an ad at the beginning, especially a skippable ad, no problem. Ads at the end, hey, yeah, absolutely. But ads in the middle, come on. Haven't we gotten past that yet? So I always disable that. But on Retrobot, I don't have the option. If YouTube decides to put mid-roll ads in all of my videos, there's not a darn thing that I can do about it because the channel is not big enough. I do not have enough subscribers, and I don't have enough watch time to be able to qualify for their partnership program. And if I'm not in their partnership program, then I don't get a say. So we have been working really, really hard to try to build up the channel so that we have a say. And yes, I do want to be able to make money because, you know, it's a lot of work, and money's good. Money buys toys. You know, right now when we're buying toys, we have to use the money that's supposed to go to bills and stuff. It would be cool if maybe the toy purchases were balanced out by ad revenue and stuff like that. So, you know, these are just some of the things that we're working towards. And by the way, a big thank you to all of you, because every one of you that's watching right now is helping us reach that goal. And we really appreciate it. I mean, from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate it because without you guys, there ain't no show. There just ain't no show. And so even though I'm not really doing toast, I am going to toast everyone here tonight and everybody who's subscribed, everybody who watches later. To all of you, a toast to you because you make it worth doing. Thank you very, very much. Good stuff. It's good stuff. So, what is your other channel? Mark Lungo asks. So, my other channel is Clay Carlino. You know, if you go to YouTube, look up the Clay Carlino channel, and it's mostly how-to stuff. Lots of car repair videos. You know, there's some life hacks and things like that. I did a video about fixing the plumbing in my bathroom, and nobody watched that video. I was surprised. I thought that it was good content. It's a longer video though. Yeah, I'm replacing a drain and a faucet. Well, not a faucet, a supply valve and some stuff like that. But yeah, it didn't get a lot of views. But I've also got a very popular video that I did with Don, and this was all Don's idea. He wanted to redo the ceiling in his kitchen, and this is something that he had done once before in his house in the finished basement. He redid the ceiling using laminate flooring. And you know, like floating floor. Well, it floats all right. It floats all the way up to the ceiling. And so we did a video showing how to do that. All his idea. It was the two of us, and that has gotten fantastic views. That is probably one of the most popular videos on the whole channel. Is me and Don putting up floating floor on the ceiling. I've got a pretty popular video showing you how to play dominoes. Because I never knew how to play dominoes, and then I pulled out a set of dominoes, and I looked at the instructions, and it was crazy. The instructions were so massive and confusing. There's like a million different ways to play dominoes, and all these different rules, and I was just looking for a simple, basic... This is how you play a basic game of dominoes. And I searched online, I searched YouTube, and I was looking for video after video, and there were these long videos, and after watching about 3 of them, I had a pretty good idea, and then comparing that to the roadmap of instructions, I was able to come up with a simple, concise game of dominoes. And you know, this to my knowledge is the way that a basic dominoes game is played. It's not something that I invented, but yeah, it did take me several videos of watching other people's stuff to figure it out. And so I did that video. That video has done really well. I get a lot of thank yous on that. And it features Weird Al Yankovic action figure. And then there's another video that has also done really, really well. This is my service to humanity. I show you how to get the little nozzles on hand soap bottles to pop up. Yeah, that's right. I figured it out. Mystery of the universe revealed. You can now open your hand soap bottle. You're welcome. Oh, so let's see. So Christopher Remley is saying, may just be here for a bit, but hiya. Hi, Christopher Remley. It's good to see you. Thank you for dropping in. I am working on Della Duck. For those people who weren't here earlier, let me just show where we're at with this. And I'll do it on the other camera. So there we go. There she is. Oh, she lost her hair. So there we go. And she's losing her scarf, and now my fingers are in the way. So, yeah. That's where we're at with Della. And I am in the process of smoothing out the hair and making it less scratchy and pitty and more Della Ducky. Wasn't that just ducky? I think it's just ducky. I don't even know what just ducky means, but I'm going to say it. I don't know what that was. Mark Lungo just subscribed to the Clay Carlino channel. Hey, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I hope you find stuff on there that you enjoy, and I promise that sometime in 2021, I'm going to upload a new video to that channel. Bam. Now, I do reply to comments all the time on that channel. I get a lot of comments, a lot of people asking about stuff, and so I try to give my best advice. And again, it's when people don't realize this. But I'll get comments all the time. People saying, "Oh, I saw your video on blank. I've got this situation. What would you recommend?" And there have been times when I've gotten questions like that. It'll be the middle of the night. I'll be checking my phone and I'll see a comment like that, and it's like, okay. I want to make sure I get this right. And so then I go down to the garage and I open up the hood on the car and I start taking things off and I'm looking at things just to make sure that I don't misspeak and give somebody bad advice. There was a video that I did just showing the Bissell Ready Clean carpet cleaner. It is a small carpet shampooer, and we got ours on Amazon for I want to say it was around $100, and because we have cats and our unfortunately one of the cats that passed away several years ago as he got older, he started peeing in the back room. And it's carpeted everywhere in this house, and so we needed a shampooer. We're always having to clean up his messes, and it was bad. It was stinky, and so we got that thing. And I decided to do a kind of a product review video of that cleaner, and that has gotten a ton of views. Well, then I got a comment from somebody saying, I got my thing. I don't know how to clean it. Can you show me how to clean it? So I recorded another video the next morning, and I showed how to clean it. And then I got a comment later on saying, okay, I cleaned it out, but it won't go back together. What am I doing wrong? And so I grabbed my phone and I did a quick hand video of taking it apart and showing how you take it apart, how you put it back together, and how everything goes. And that's, you know, again, that's all that part of always wanting to make sure that I don't tell somebody something that is bad or wrong. You know, that's like my biggest fear, and it seems like if that's my biggest fear, I should probably not be on YouTube, but I am. What is wrong with me? Does that make sense to anyone? I don't feel like that makes sense. But, so let's see. I'm just perusing the comments. Let me see if I can pop out the chat, because if I pop out the chat, I might be able to see what people have been saying a little bit better. Okay, let's see. Everyone remember to hit that like button. Thank you, Mark Longo. And enjoy 5 p.m. Pacific. Hello, Bob Ross. And let's see. Sorted enthusiast. Sorted euphemism. Sorted euphemism. Oh gosh, that's a good screen name. Oh, I now have complete screen name envy. Sorted euphemism. That's the best darn screen name that I've ever heard. Sorted euphemism. Thank you for joining in. And Sorted Euphemism said can't stay, but I'll stay connected. So you get credit for the watch count. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Hopefully you see that I was giving you props on your awesome name. So, let's see. Kyoji. Oh, hi, Kyoji. Hello. Kyoji says, so Clay, Della is going to have removable robot leg. Oh, we've gotten so many comments on social media. Yeah, and it's awesome. It is. You know, it's actually really cool because, like I was mentioning early in the video, the enthusiasm level and the interest level is awe-inspiring on this project. Yeah, I am humbled by people really wanting to see how it goes, and we got all sorts of comments where people were asking, and then there were the ones that were like, well, it's a shame that you didn't make the leg removable. And it's like, it's not even done yet. It's not a shame yet. I promise I'll do it. But so yes, she's gonna have a removable robot leg. You know, I am making a promise right now. I swear on this adult beverage, before the end of this live stream, I am cutting her leg off. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's going to happen live on camera. Yeah. Oh yeah. So, now you know. And I just drank on it. So that means that's like stronger than a pinky swear. Did you notice how bent my pinkies are? I've got the most, like, look at these. If somebody broke into my house and tied me up and had my hands bound at the wrists, I could still pick both nostrils at the same time. Yeah. Weird. So, this is what happens when I have a camera on me. And, you know, I guess this is what is this stream of consciousness? I feel like that's what what this all is this is just stream of consciousness. And my consciousness, it streams nonsense. Complete and utter nonsense. So I apologize. Oh, but she's coming along. She is coming along. Yeah, that's feeling good. It's looking pretty good. I wanna get this little notch that I put in the back here. This one's tricky. You know, I put it in with an X-Acto blade, and you'd think that would be a very, very smooth notch, but it's not. It chips the Sculpey, and it causes it to have lots of little facets and things. So I need to go in here. I'm going to switch camera views so that you can kind of see what I'm having to do here as I do it. So there is the thing, and I think that's pretty much in focus. Is that in focus? Let's see. So yeah. Oh, I see what's happening. Okay, I wonder if I can correct this. I wondered why it was kind of... Yeah, there we go. And... Yeah, I you know, everything was coming out sort of off center on this camera, and I couldn't figure out why. It's because in my streaming software I've set it up probably to crop something, but I don't need to crop it that way. So here's what we're gonna do. So I'm going to curl my paper, and you see this nice cut edge here. You know, this is where the sandpaper was cut. And so I'm going to put this into the crevice here, and I'm going to do this. You see how I'm just using that tight edge to get into that crack, and just very, very carefully. And see, look at how much that's cleaned that up. That is so much nicer. Let me see if I can get it in focus. There we go. So, yeah. See, you can see how much smoother that's gotten that. Now, I kind of wish that it were a little bit crisper. You know, you see how it's not very well shaped. I think I'm gonna just go in with the X-Acto here, and I'm gonna score it a little bit more deeply. You know, by doing this, I'll give it more dimension and make it look crisper. And that's what I want. I want it to be a nice crisp line. Yeah, it has to, whatever you do in sculpting, really in any kind of artwork, you have to make sure that it looks intentional. You know, Bob Ross is an excellent example of somebody who, if he made something that he didn't intend to do, then he would just work with it and show it. And that's sort of my philosophy. If you can't hide it, show it. There are no accidents, or there are no mistakes, only happy accidents. Words to live by. Sometimes it's harder to live by those words. So you can see here, I'm getting this to a nice fine point, and that's going to make it look more like a separation in cartoon hair. I didn't really have a good reference for the back of her head, so I'm guessing at this. It's hair. It's not that hard to figure out. There we go. So, yeah. And see, look at how much better that looks already. And now, we'll just get in there with the edge of the sandpaper and just follow that line all the way up. Get in there. And the nice thing is that with Sculpey, it's not like it takes a lot of work to sand off material. You know, sometimes just a couple passes. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I need a small piece. So let's just do this. This is a cut mat, by the way. Okay, so there we go. There we go. And there we go. Look at that. Oh no, I've started the there we go again. Oh no. Have we reached that point of the night already? Where I'm saying there we go? Somebody help me. Feed me booze. I guess I could feed myself booze. And there, we'll get into that little crack right there. There. But I'm not saying the other part. There. It's part of a phrase. There. Something I don't want to say, but there. I feel it in my brain. I saved it! And see this one, you know, it was really kind of rough and chunky in there, and you can see how already it's getting smoother and crisper, and that is what we want. We want it to be nice and smooth, nice and crisp. There we go. Oh gosh darn it. So that's not looking too bad. I'm actually pretty happy with that. Still need some more work, but we're getting there. We are getting there. So let's see what else are people saying. Let's see. Went right by me and still went to watch the freaking series this weekend. Unlike the TV series where Della's amputated leg her off camera. Okay, so you guys are talking about the show. Good. I always kind of feel bad when I kind of have to focus on the project and stop narrating, because I feel like I'm being a bad host. But at the same time, the project is the point. So I guess I just have to kind of suck it up and keep working. I'm happy though. You know, this is taking shape really, really well. Get those other directions. And see, notice, this is not really a natural way to sand. Yeah, this doesn't feel natural, but it's a good thing to do. So that's my second direction. Going up and down like this. There is a divot right there. I really want to get it out. Going side to side. That's, I mean, that feels good. It's like, oh yeah, that's the way it's supposed to go. Okay. Diagonals aren't nearly as bad because at least it's a little bit side to sidey. So we're getting the diagonal here. And get the diagonal that way. And then the diagonal so yeah, there's a little bit of scuff on the top. So, all right. So I got a few little divots. I don't like the divots. Let me show you my divots. So here we go. So there's the little divot right there. You see that? And then there's these little scratches right there, and there's a little divot right there. So here's what I'm going to do. I've got some super glue here. And I'm just going to put a tiny little dab of super glue right in there. Just the smallest little dab. Like that. And then a little bit of baking soda. There we go. And now I've turned that dimple into a bump, and then I can sand that down and sand that smooth. I'm going to do the same thing with these scratches right here. It's a little bit more than I wanted right here. There we go. You see how the paper towel just sucked that up very easily. And there's still just a fine layer. We'll put a little bit of baking soda on there. And now that little bugger. There you go. Yeah. See? You have super glue in you now. How does that feel? Little jerk. That's what he gets for existing. So, a little bit of and there we go. Just brush the excess back into the box. And now I'll just sand those down. And it will be nice and smooth. And it will no longer be a divot. I think I lost my background music. Oh, yeah, the thing's still going, but I wonder if the playlist ran out. Well, we will have to do without the background music unless Monica comes down and resets her phone. We've got all sorts of Bluetooth things happening here. Oh, I lost my background music. Are you watching the live stream? Oh. Do you like my channel? It's our channel. It is definitely our channel. So there we go. That's turning into a thing. So here, let me show this on the other camera. So you see that spot? Yeah. Here, let me rotate it so that you can see what it look at that. Look, it is perfectly smooth. It's discolored, but once I paint it, it should disappear. So that is what we want. And it's dry in here. I am ready for this winter to be over. I don't know what it's like everywhere that all of you are at, but here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, it is cold. Well, actually, the last couple of days have been pretty nice, but this has been a long, snowy winter. This has been the snowiest winter that we've had in decades. Literally, decades. Now, when I was a kid, it seemed like we had snowy winters all the time. But at some point, and maybe because when I was a kid, I was further north, but certainly since I've been in Pittsburgh, it seems like the number of times that we've had really snowy winters has just gone down and down. But there's a cycle to it, because you'll have several years where you get no winter, and then all of a sudden you'll get a winter again. And it's something like this, where it's just stupid. But I finally see grass in my yard. So, grass. I mean, it's dead grass, but it's still grass. Seeing grass means there's no snow on top of it. And that, to me, is a plus. So, and every now and then you get the people that are like, oh, I like the changing seasons. That's usually people that don't have to shovel. It seems like as soon as somebody has to shovel, then their opinion on the changing seasons changes. I had a friend from work. She was cool. She was very, very cool. And she was from California, and she was talking about how she hated California winter because it just got cold and wet. And I will admit that cold rain is just about the most miserable weather you can have. I would say that cold rain is even more unpleasant than snow, even though I hate snow. But cold rain, it just sucks the life out of you. You know, it gets, everything is wet and everything is bitter and it's just yuck on top of yuck on top of yuck. So I will agree with her that cold rain is not preferable to snow, but she had her first winter in Pittsburgh, and it was one of those years where we didn't have much of anything, and she's like, oh, I like the snow. The snow is nice. But then the next year, it wasn't like this year, but it was a year that we had substantial snow. And she moved back to California. that was it. One legitimate Pittsburgh winter, and she was done. So, oh, I miss her. Rachel, if you ever find this channel, we miss you. We watched Buffy together. Me and Monica and Rachel, she would come over, and we watched the entire Buffy series, because I had never watched it all the way through. So she kind of elevated my culture and showed me the world of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So, yeah. One winter is all it took. There we go. She was the one who gave us our cat Rory. She found him, and he was a rescue. She found him around her apartment building, and she already had cats, and she kept him separated, and then took him to the vet and found out that he was FIV positive. And those of you who know that our cats and the cat that we had back then was FIV positive, and you can't mix FIV positive cats with healthy cats because they will spread it. I think it's in the saliva. So, they bite, they scratch, they share the same food bowl, water bowl, it spreads, and it's an immune deficiency, which means that if your cats have it, then you should keep them indoors for two reasons. For one thing, so that they don't spread it to other neighborhood cats. The other reason is because if they're going outside, they can get in fights, they can get into nasty stuff, and they don't have, they have a reduced capacity to fight off infections. So, here's the thing. We've been having FIV positive cats. Well, pretty much, the cat that Monica had when we first met, his name was Sendak, and I loved Sendak. Sendak was my buddy. He was such a good cat, and he was a smart cat. And he was FIV positive. And then, let's see. After Sendak, we got Simon. And Simon, we adopted because the local shelter did not have the capacity to keep FIV kitties separated. And so they were calling around to vets to see if the vets knew anybody who could adopt an FIV positive cat. They called our vet. Then our vet gave them our information. They called us and they said, hey, we have this cat that is FIV positive. Would you be interested in adopting him? Because if not, we're going to euthanize the cat. That unfortunately, that was... And this was after Sendak had passed away. So I'm, I get the call, or they call Monica while I'm at work. Monica calls me while I'm at work and tells me about the situation. And it's like, okay, but it's kind of far away and I have to wait until I get off work. So they stay open late and we get there and it's late in the evening and then they're having us fill out all the paperwork, which, okay, it's fine. We're living in an apartment at that time. Our apartment allows pets. We never asked permission from our landlord. The apartment was listed as allowing pets. And they knew that we had a cat and they didn't care because it was a pet-friendly apartment. So we're filling out this paperwork and there's this one question. Did you notify your landlord about this adoption? Well, stupidly, I was honest. I said no. I just marked it no. I didn't. And then and we turn in our paperwork, and it's many pages of paperwork. Like there's a ton of stuff that they're having us fill out to adopt this cat that they called us because they need us to adopt him. Okay, yeah, and so we turn in the paperwork, and then we're waiting. And we're waiting and we're waiting. And it seems like we're waiting for another half hour. And then this girl comes out and she's like, well, there's a problem. You see, you marked on the paperwork that you haven't notified your landlord. And I said, well, no, it's a pet-friendly building. We don't have to notify the landlord. It's like, well, you're supposed to notify the landlord, because we don't want for you to adopt the pet and then have to get rid of it and just set it loose. I said, well, we're not going to do that. We have a cat. The whole reason why you called us to adopt this cat is because we are allowed to have cats, and we're going to adopt this cat. There's no way that we're going to be getting rid of this cat. And she's like, well, I don't know. And Monica has very rarely seen me get angry. I was getting angry. Because now, and you know, there's the one side of it, which is I'm there after work. It's late in the evening. It's past 9. And my workplace starts at 6 a.m. And it's going to be another hour just to get home. And we still haven't even gotten the cat yet. And so, you know, I normally try to go to bed by 8:30 or 9. I'm already up past my bedtime, and it's going to be a lot more before I get to go to bed. And I'm making this special trip to help them and to help this cat. And then this girl is giving me this thing about not checking the box. And I said, you know what? Give me the paperwork back, and I will just check the box that I notified the landlord. And she's like, well, no, you can't do that. And I told her, I was so mad. I was so mad. And I told her, look, the way that this was presented to us was that you need to find a home for this cat. And if you can't find a home for this cat, you're going to kill the cat. You are not going to kill this cat. And she disappeared. And then we waited for another 20 minutes. And then someone else came out kind of apologetically. And we were able to adopt Simon. And we see Simon, and you know, they had used the word kitten. Simon was not a kitten. He may not have been an adult cat, but his head sure looked like an adult cat. And so they bring out the cat carrier, and all we see is this big cat head. And we can't see the rest of the body. Just a big cat head with big eyes. He was black almost all over, except for white on his belly. And he might have had a little bit of white on his thing. In fact, wait, you know what? I have a picture of Simon on my phone. Okay, so there he is. So there is, here. There is Simon. And you can see he's got some white on his chin. And in that picture, he's laying on the engine of my car. He would follow me everywhere. Didn't matter what I was doing, he wanted to be there, and he wanted to lay on whatever I was doing. If I was working on my milling machine, he was in front of the keyboard, laying in front of the keyboard so that I was typing over top of him. If I was working in the garage, then he would jump up on the car, crawl into the engine compartment, and sleep on the engine. He was adorable. I loved that cat. Oh, what a precious cat. So that's how we got Simon. And I didn't end up having to go off on the girl, but you know, it's like I have run into people from time to time, and I know that it's just a different philosophy, but it is a philosophy that never ceases to arouse my ire, and that is people that are so used to following whatever the norm is or whatever the rules are that they stop thinking about the situation. And that's really what this situation is. I had checked the wrong box, and so this girl didn't know what to do, because the rules say that if you don't check that box, then you don't adopt the cat. And she's not even thinking about the fact that they're gonna kill the cat. Okay, so in her zeal to enforce this rule, she would have killed the cat. And that just seems horrible to me. I mean, just that, and not out of maliciousness. She thinks she's doing a good job. She thinks that she's upholding an important standard. But the result would have been, if she had gotten things the way that she thought they should be done, Simon would have been dead. That's not helping. And it's because she couldn't just think the situation through for a moment and realize the dynamics of, you know what, this is not a normal case. The place wasn't even open anymore. It was after hours. We're there because they called us. They have a situation. We are helping, and then she gives me crap. It's like, come on, just think. Just think for a moment. Ugh. See, I still get worked up. But oh, Simon, what a sweet cat. So we had Simon, and then and Sendak lived to be 17 years old. So he was an old cat when he finally passed away. And then it was after Sendak passed away that Rachel found let's see, she had a name for him. I don't remember what she called him. It was some kind of a pun. But we renamed him Rory, after Rory Williams from Doctor Who. So yeah, and he was a Manx, and he had no tail. He just had a little nub. Cutest little thing. I mean, and he was feisty. He would love maul me. Oh, my arms would get so torn up, but I couldn't help but love it because he was so cute when he did it. So that was Rory, and we would always tell him that we would always ask him where his tail was, and he would look at us like, "You mother, always with the tail, always with the tail." So, all right, yeah, that might be... You know what? I think that it still needs a little bit more sanding over top of that little dab of glue. So, there we go. And I said it again, but I said it in a sing-song voice. I don't know if that makes it better. So, I haven't checked the chat. Little dab will do ya. Oh, thank you for sticking with me, Kyoji. You are a trooper. All of you are troopers. Mark, you're a trooper too. You've been here from the beginning. Oh yeah, that's some good stuff. That's some good stuff. I'm gonna get this front bit a little bit. I think, well, let me get this little rim around the inside of the hair there. The shape is just kind of irregular, and I want it to be a nice consistent shape. It shouldn't take much, but I just want to soften that edge. So there we go, and I'm set it again. I'm gonna stick this sandpaper through my head again. If anything that'll stop me when I sing the phrase, there we go, again and again. Be here all night, folks. All right. Ooh. It's not bad. It is not bad. That's looking like a thing. That is looking like a thing. The edges are pretty crisp. Let me just clean up this inside edge here. And let me get that little crinkle. So widen the gap at the bottom just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit of luck in every piece of lucky dog. Yeah, this is this is where we're at. We're singing the Lucky Dog commercial. Just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit of bleeding luck. There. Clean up that little hair follicle. It's not really a follicle. Okay, let's take a look, see what you think. So there we go. I know it doesn't look dramatically different from the way that it looked an hour ago, but the crisper lines and the cleaner edges really do make a big difference, especially once it's painted. Because once you've got consistent color, especially light colors, then light colors show every flaw. And unfortunately, Della's hair is whitish. So, yeah, we want it to be nice and smooth. And this is looking pretty good. So, I'm feeling pretty good about that. All right, I'm gonna drink some more. Oh, wait. I realized that holding the straw off to the side, there was a distinct possibility that once I tipped my head back, it was going to start draining liquid out the straw. And then I was going to feel real dumb. So, so I didn't. Isn't that great? And so now we're at the 1000 grit sandpaper. And at this point, the hair should be the shape that I want it. You know, ideally, all of the real sculpting on the hair should be done. We will see. Sometimes you can't tell that there's a blemish until after you get your first coat of paint on, which sucks, by the way. But you get the paint on there, and then you see it, and the paint really does show all of the blemishes and everything that needs to be done, and it makes it a little bit easier to tell you where you need to sand and put additional attention. So, you know, like I saw there's a little bit of a chip or something in the front here. Let me show it. So you see that right down there. Right down there. That sucks. I might as well use the heavier grit sandpaper. It's in the front too. You know, there's no way that I can ignore it. Like, if it were on the underside, then there would be that, do I fix it? Do I care? You know, but it's right in the front. I have to fix it. Woohoo! I'm woohooing because I almost said there we go again. It's like a disease. I've got the there we go ups, like hiccups, except when I go, there we 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 go. See, isn't that terrible? I don't know what that was. It's what happens when I'm focused on doing something and my brain just starts going into like standby mode. Oh, let's see. So, Kyoji, I don't have the best pinkies, but I have a badly damaged nerve in my right ring finger from a 4th grade accident. So I can't feel my right pinky into my palm. The ring finger automatically curls too. Oh, wow, that's a thing. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Kyoji. Okay, do you guys want to hear a story? I'll share a story. That just reminds me of. Oh, it's so bad. All right, so here, let me take off my watch so that you can be undistracted. So, can you see that mark? It goes all the way around my wrist. Maybe if I show it on the other camera. So, okay, you see that scar that goes all the way around my wrist? Yeah. Okay. Well, there's a story behind that scar, and it has nothing to do with desperation or depression. It has to do with being a dumbass and trying to impress a girl in a way that only a dumbass guy could try to impress a girl. This was many years ago. I think I was 21, maybe, when really all of the best decisions of your life, you know, when you think back to the things that you did that you thought, boy, that was really smart. Yeah, that's what 21 means. Oh, wait a minute. It's the exact opposite of what 21 means, because 21-year-olds, I know at least when I was 21, I was a complete dumbass. And, you know, the problem is that people make you think that you're an adult. You've got adult rights, but and I didn't even drink. I didn't even have drinking as an excuse. But I was visiting my hometown area, and a bunch of my friends were home. I don't know what the occasion was, but I was hanging out with a bunch of my friends, and there was this area in that we called it the gorge. And the gorge was essentially a spot in the middle of nowhere, okay, in the middle of the wilderness. You hike down this path for a mile or so, and you come out on top of this outcropping of stone that is overlooking the entire valley. It's beautiful. And when you're 21, places like this are very special. You know, they give you the feels, and you feel so adult and so deep and connected and stuff like that. And so we were all going to this place, and I decided, see, when you go there, you end up you get to the spot. And I always remember there was this pipe sticking up out of the stone. I don't know what the pipe was for. Probably some kind of mining or something. But nonetheless, there was a pipe there. And I thought, you know what would be really cool? I'm going to take a rope with me, and I'm going to tie it to that pipe, and then I'm going to go down around the other side. I'm going to climb up the face of that rock face. And this girl that I really like is going to be there, and it's going to be really cool when I do it, and she's going to be impressed. That was my plan. Good plan. And by good plan, I mean dumbass plan. So the whole way there, you know, I've got my rope, and I am not an experienced climber. This is a nylon rope. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever used a nylon rope for anything, but nylon ropes are not soft. They're actually kind of hard and slick, and they're strong, but it's not a climbing rope. I didn't really know. You know, it's one of those things where you don't know just how much you don't know until you're faced with the consequences of your ignorance. And so we go out there, and she's begging me not to do this. Please don't do this. Please don't do this. And of course, the more she begs, the more determined I am to do it. Because that's how hormones work. In case you don't know, that's what hormones do to you. They systematically shut off your brain and force you to do stupid things that could get you killed, or if nothing else, will cause you lifelong injury or scarring. So we get out there, I tie the rope onto the pole, or onto the pipe, whatever the thing is sticking out of the ground. I throw it over the edge. I take the little path that goes around this down to the bottom, the base of the cliff. And then I start climbing up. And the nice thing was that for most of this climb, there are handholds and footholds, and I'm just climbing up, and I've got the rope. Now, I don't tie the rope on me. I don't have gloves. Gloves would have been great. I don't have good shoes. I have a cheap pair of sneakers with no tread on them. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I have never really been a buff guy with a tremendous amount of upper body strength. Yeah, that's not me. But nonetheless, I'm climbing up this cliff. And I get close to the top. But you see, the stone sticks out. You know, it sticks out like yay. Probably more like yay. And so I'm grasped onto the side, but the overhang is like if I'm holding on this way, the overhang is back here. And somehow I'm supposed to climb over that. Oh gosh, it gives me the wigglies just thinking about it. And so, you know, I've read way too many Batman comics. In Batman comics, climbing ropes is easy. Boy, Batman makes it look easy. In all of my wisdom, I decide, well, it's not that far. I'll let go of my handholds and I'll just support myself completely on the rope and I'll climb the rope. And I'll get up. So I'm up there and I'm pretty high. I am pretty freaking high. And I grab onto the rope and I let go and I swing out. And I'm hanging there and so it's, and you know, when you've got all of your body weight on a rope, that rope straightens out. Like once again, you look at a Batman comic and every time they show him on a rope, you know, he's like got one hand on the rope and the rope's crawling around here, going to the building, and he's, you know, catching a falling damsel in distress with this hand, and it's all dynamic and cape is flowing and everything. Well, let me tell you, that's not how ropes work. That rope is just a straight, it becomes a nylon pole, a rigid, completely devoid of the ability to flex nylon pole, because there's like 190 pounds of dumbass hanging from it. And so I try to climb up this rope and I grab on and I just slide down the rope. And I'm sliding down, and let me tell you, you don't have to slide very far with all of your body weight on a rope before it becomes really, really hot and your hands start to burn. So, I wrap the free end of the rope around this hand to stop myself from sliding. And now, and it works. I stopped. It's cutting off the circulation to this hand, but I'm at least stable, and so I try to grab onto the rope, and I cannot get a grip, and I can't pull myself up any further. And I realized at that point that I was in trouble. So, I yell up and I said, I'm in a little trouble. And so my friends, I hear them saying, "Oh my God, don't do anything. We're coming down." Well, as was the modus operandi of the evening, I was not going to wait for them to figure out how to get me down. And I was hanging there on the rope, and I'm just kind of going back and forth. And I'm playing out scenarios in my head of what I could do. And one scenario that I think of is, okay, if I get myself swinging, maybe I can swing myself back over and grab onto my handholds and footholds, and then work my way down. And I imagined that, and I thought, you know, if I fail to grab onto this rock face with my free hand, I am going to plummet to my death. I decided that that really wasn't the best option. And so I had a moment of kind of facing my mortality, because I realized that I could die in that moment. You know, depending on what happened over the next few minutes, I became aware that I really could die in that situation. And I said a very short prayer. And you know, if you're not religious, that's okay. I'm not trying to convert anybody, but I'm just telling you the story the way that it happened. I said a quick prayer, and it's funny because it's not what I would have expected. Like, looking back, if I were writing a script, what I said in my prayer is not what I would ever put in a character, because nobody would believe it. I didn't beg for my life. I apologized to God for taking my life for granted and putting myself in such a stupid situation. And then I probably begged for my life. I mean, let's be real here. I was going to die. So after that, I got an idea. And it's a dumb idea. But, so the rope is wrapped around this hand, and all my weight's on it. I've got one free hand. So I pick up the loose end of the rope in this hand, and I put some slack on the rope. Now, on hindsight, I really should have measured out the slack, but I didn't. I was just kind of winging it. And it could have gone so wrong. Then I looped that rope around this hand several times, and I held on. I held on hard. And then I let go with this hand, and woof! I dropped. I dropped fast, and I dropped hard. And I come to an immediate stop hanging off of that rope. And looking back, the rope could have snapped. I could have put too much slack in the rope and bounced my legs off of the rocks below. There's so many ways it could have gone bad, but it didn't. And I look down, and I'm hanging there, and my legs, my feet, are maybe 2 feet above the ground below. I had dropped all the way, missing the ground by a hop. And I look up, and my hand is just this kind of twisted mess in that rope that was going around my wrist. Oh wait, no, it was this hand. So I had a hold of this end, and this was the hand, because this one's the one that got the scar. And so the rope had gone around the wrist and through there, and so I just kind of turned away, and I gave my hand a shake, because I wasn't even holding on at that point. It was just kind of all gnarled up in there, and I just kind of gave my hand a wiggle, and then that dropped me the rest of the way, just as my friends were getting down to the other side, and they were there. And so I see my hand, and there's this it had to be a quarter of an inch deep, if not deeper. This gouge, this deep, deep groove pressed into my wrist, going all the way around. And you can see right here where the rope crisscrossed on the back of my hand, and then it went around here and came around that side. But it was this deep groove. And so I turn around as if I'm going to play it cool at this point, and my friends are horrified. And the girl was horrified. She was so mad. And I said, and I turned my back to them, hiding my arm as though they're not going to notice. And I said, I'm fine. Everything's fine. And she looks at me and she says, let me see your hand. And I could tell by the tone of voice that that all leniency was over. And she looked at it and she said, we're taking you to the hospital right now, and you're not going to say a word. So we all left. Now, my friend Chris, he told me on the way back that was the coolest thing that he ever saw anybody do. Oh, gosh. Oh, I love you, Chris. So yeah, and the doctor, when we did get to see the doctor, he said it was the single worst case of rope burn that he's ever seen in his life, and that I was lucky that I didn't deglove my hand. So now I have this scar to remind me of that little thing. And so anyway, the reason why I was reminded of that is because for 3 months after that, I had no feeling in these two fingers. No feeling whatsoever. And then about 2.5 months in, I bumped my hand on something and I felt this little tingle of sensation shoot out to the tips of my fingers. And I was amazed because it was the first time that I had felt anything on these two fingers. And so I started going like this, and every time I tapped my hand, I felt these little bolts of sensation. And so for the next several weeks, I would just keep going like this, because it was the only way that I would feel anything in those fingers. And eventually I got the feeling back. So yeah, I left the experience. I now do have sensation in my fingers. But yeah, so that is my story of nerve damage, and you know, in my case, it was temporary, but yeah. So sorry, Kyoji, that your story about your pinky reminded me of my harrowing experience trying to impress a girl, and by the way, she was not impressed. Oh gosh. The things that we do when we are young and stupid, it is, you know, it's way different than when you're old and stupid. That's completely different. So yeah, Kyoji says, wow, that's a scar, and yes, it sure as heck is. And I feel like I have to tell the story, because, you know, people see a scar that goes across your wrist, and the first thing they think is suicide attempt. And you know, I remember I was telling this story once in the girl's presence, and I made that statement, and she says, some people would say that it was a suicide attempt. And it's like, ooh, ouch. she was so mad. So mad on so many levels. Joy says, I had a near-death experience at a ski resort. I should have been killed or injured badly. No crap. Really, Joy? Was it like a skiing accident, or was it, unrelated to skiing? I'm curious. I guess you don't have to tell your story in the chat if you don't want to, but if you do want to, then I would love to know what happened. And isn't it funny how something like that really puts things in perspective? So, yeah, let's see. Well, I haven't seen a response yet, so. So here we are, sanding Della hair. Ask where she's at. We say Delaware. See what I did there? So. That's feeling good. That is feeling really, really nice. All right. You're not going to see anything different, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. So there we go. That is the hair. I think that this is good, at least until I paint it and see how it's looking. But I feel like that is as good as it's going to get. And honestly, so you can. I could go into it with the 2000 grit, but honestly, you don't really want to go in it with too high of a grit before you paint it, because you want the paint to stick. And the paint needs crevices to stick to, texture. So yeah, I think that the hair is sculpted. And let's just show Della. Yeah. Let me see. Okay. Yaset Ruiz. Am I saying that right? Yaset Ruiz. Can you say hello to me? Hey, you know what? Hello, Yaset Ruiz. And if I'm mispronouncing that, let me know, because I will try again. Thank you for joining me, and welcome to Retrobot. A toast to Yaset Ruiz. Let's see. Yeah, so Yaset said, I am so excited for this. Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? I am excited for this. And here, I will show you what Della is looking like at this point, because she's starting to come along. So here we go. This. There she is. So, yeah. That is some Della action right there. I feel good about this. And, alright, I got Yaset's name correct. So, thank you, Yaset. And I'm sorry that I didn't notice your message earlier. I get distracted easily during these things. But I'm very glad that you joined us. So, thank you very much. So, yeah. Yeah, oh gosh, you know, that's actually looking really good. Yeah, here. So that is Della. All right. So the next thing, I was working on this piece. This is her scarf. Let me show this on the side camera. And I had showed in the update video how I made the collar out of a piece of cardboard, and then I soaked it with super glue. Now you can see that it's delaminating a little bit, and I'm going to just put some super glue in there, and then kind of squeeze that. And see, this is something that I do a lot on things that I'm building, is sometimes I'll take paper or cardboard because they are permeable. And so the super glue can absorb into them, and then the super glue binds to the paper and gives it structure. But it's kind of easy to work with. So you can see that I've just pretty much covered this in super glue, just a thin coat of super glue. And then I've got my baking soda here. And I'm going to make sure to get the baking soda into those side crevices and all over the surface here. There we go. All right, and so now I can sand this. And I'm gonna kind of roll this tightly. By rolling the sandpaper tightly, I give it the shape that I want, and it's still soft enough that it can conform somewhat. You know, sort of balancing between having a loose piece that doesn't give you enough control, but versus having a rigid piece where it's unforgiving. Oh, I just broke this. That's okay. I can fix it. We're just going to, and now you may be thinking, well, that's a weak point and that's always going to want to break, and you are right, except that once this is glued to the chest, then it's going to have the entire structure of the chest holding it together. And so the fact that it's a very, very thin piece of Sculpey will not be as big of a problem. So there we go. I'm just going to hold it together for a little bit. And I don't know. Let's see. Oh, so Yasit says everything looks so cool. Thank you. Oh, and I see AJ Stinson. Hey, AJ. I had a nightmare about super glue last night. No thanks. And oh, also I see Cassie Vivian. The hair is looking great. Thank you, Cassie. Welcome to Retrobot. Thank you for joining my my casual stream while I sculpt Sculpey pieces. All right, there we go. Oh, it's a little bit off. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of sanding to repair. So I'm gonna put a little bit more super glue around there. And got some of this baking soda on my table, so I might as well use it. There we go. And a little bit on the front. There we go. And now so I'll fold my sandpaper. And folding the sandpaper will give it a stronger edge. And that's what I like to do for some of these, you know, tight corner places where I need to get into a little nook. So there we go. Just a little sand that like that. And a little sanding here. Just like that. And some sanding back here. I just want to be really gentle because obviously you've seen how easily this piece can break. And I'm going to fold the sandpaper again and just kind of dig at the center here where that glue bead is, because I want it to be on the same level as the rest of the scarf, so that when I glue it I get a nice strong bond across the whole piece. So there we go. Oh, I said the thing again. Gosh darn it. And look at that. That is almost fixed. So, you know, it's the type of thing that things are going to happen. You know, when you're working with little parts like this, stuff breaks, stuff gets lost, and you just have to roll with it. You know, you can't let it shake you. You can't let it rattle you or make you feel like, oh, it's hopeless. Because, you know, you saw that this thing broke in half and I just fixed it in like 5 minutes. No big deal. So there we go. And now I can get back to sanding the collar of the bomber jacket. And you see how I put a little bit of a curve in this cardboard to get the curve of the collar. You know, that was important to me. You know, I thought that was an important characteristic. I didn't want it to look like just a flat piece of material. I wanted it to look like the cartoon, where the collar obviously kind of curves over at the ends. So just a nice subtle curve. And there we go. There's a little bit of a curve on this side. It's not as pronounced as the other side. In fact, you know what? I've been debating, but I think I'm going to bend it over just a little bit. Now, doing this is very likely going to crack the super glue just a little bit, but that's okay because I can always just add a little bit more super glue and kick it again. Yeah, I could feel it kind of cracking. There we go. Okay. And see, now I've got that little curve in there. And that makes, it just makes such a big difference in terms of keeping it from looking like it's made out of cardboard, which it is, but we don't want it to look like it's made out of cardboard. We want to make it look like it's the collar to a cartoon bomber jacket. So we're going to just put some more super glue all over this thing. Okay. There we go. And then a little bit of baking soda. Baking soda. You are my pagoda. Going to DeSoto. Wishing for a pagoda. Baking soda is you. I think that the background music is slowly causing my brain to shut off. I don't mind it, but if it weren't for YouTube's copyright rules, then I would be playing old 80s techno music. Stuff from when keyboards were called synthesizers, Men Without Hats, and Talking Heads and REM and stuff like that. I have my Spotify account. I've got my middle-aged nerd playlist. There we go. Oh, I said it again. Gosh darn it. But look at that. That's starting to look good. And look at the curve. See, I told you that the curve would turn out okay. So, let's see. AJ Stinson says, love your chill music. And many still call them synths. Let's see. Gorlas uses a lot of synths. Embrace, there we go. Maybe that's what I have to do, but if I didn't say it so often, it wouldn't bug me. But it just comes out without me even meaning for it to, and then it make Clay mad. It make Clay mad. All right, so we have I don't know if I talked about this in the update. You'll notice that I have sanded Donald's back here, and what I've done is, he used to have that sailor suit flap on the back of his shirt, And so what I've done is I've cut most of that away, but I've left this rib right here. What this is, that's the scarf. I've just repurposed that raised section to become the scarf. And you can see it wraps around here, and then it drops off right there, and this one drops off right there. And if you look, you see this part of the scarf. I'm showing it from the back, but you see how that's flat right there, going across. Well, that's going to meet up right here, and then after I glue it in place, I'm going to be able to just add a little bit of glue and do some sanding. Oh, it came off of the collar. The collar is now a little bit too stiff because I've got glue on it. Doggone it. Stuff's breaking. Sculpey is not a robust material. And that's one thing that you are seeing here, is that it breaks very, very easily, especially tiny pieces like this. So I'm just going to glue it back together. And let's get some of that glue to go across that crack. Maybe fill it in just a little bit. There we go. There it is. I got stuff glued to my fingers. It's not the first time I'll have stuff glued to my fingers, and it won't be the last. There we go. I said it again. Maybe I should just put "there we go" on a t-shirt. And then at that point, I'm owning it. So we're going to just carve a little bit out here so that we can get this around Donald's neck. Because it was just getting a little bit tight, and that's when I broke the scarf, is when I was trying to get this around Donald's neck. So maybe we'll have a little bit of an easier time. There we go. Look at that. And now, so you can see how this, you see how the scarf meets up with the scarf here. I know it's hard to see, but that's what's going on. We've got the scarf, and it ends right there. Let me adjust this just a little. So there. So it's going to end right there, and then yeah. So that's how that's going to fit on. And that gives her a bomber jacket. However, I think that I've got too much glue build up underneath right here, so I need to dig that out just a little bit. Yeah, Dudley? And we're digging. This is meticulous work. You know, this is the stuff where it seems like I'm so close, but there's still so much of this tiny, tiny stuff that needs to be done in order to make everything work. And so that's where we're at. kind of bend that just a little bit. There. Oh, there. Oh, look at that. Look at how well that's fitting. Yeah, that's what we want right there. So you see how there's the part of his collar that's still on him, and then there's my Sculpey, and they just meet right there, and I'll just be able to fill that in, and that's going to be great. That is going to be great. That's going to be perfect. Yeah. Ha ha! Oh, I feel good about that. I feel very good about that. All right, so let me pull this off, and I'm gonna hit it with some of the 500. Well, let's see. I've got this 320. Let me try the 320 first, because we've only really done rough sanding on this piece, and we need to get it a little bit nicer before we get to the 500 stage. Yeah, this feels good. I'm loving the suggestions between AJ and Christopher. AJ's got "There We Know." Christopher's got "Thar She Blows." I'm gonna start using that one. "Thar She Blows." Thar she blows. The white whale. Thar she blows. We'll kill Hauler. I don't know pirate speak. I am completely useless on Talk Like a Pirate Day. And I feel like it's something that I want to cultivate a talent for, but I really am bad at talking like a pirate. And thar she blows. Oh yeah, that feels good. That may be the winner right there. And maybe that's what I need to do, is just constantly use substitutes that sort of sound similar, that when I catch myself doing it, I can switch up and do something else. That seems like a good strategy. So for now, it's "Thar she blows." And yeah, this is working. This is working well. Thar she blows. Good stuff. Sea shanty style from Christopher Remley. Is Dudley in the background? I don't see. Oh, he's under the table now. Thar she blows. Yeah, that works. Thank you, Christopher. So I'm going to make a little loop here just to get kind of an inside curve so that I can get the back part of this collar. And I know that nobody's really going to see it, but I'm going to know that it's there, so I'm going to sand it anyway. Clean up this edge just a little bit. Oh, that's... I'm feeling good about this. Feeling real good about that. Yeah. Oh! Yes! Now, the only thing that's kind of bugging me now well, yeah, I hate to say it, but the hairband is off. Now, Della's hairband, if you watch the animation cells, her hairband does some weird things because by the animation, her hairband starts much further back on her head, but this figure's not going to work that way. So, so I have it on this side coming down right behind the beak. But this side, it's way off. You see that? And I don't want to have to fix it, but I really have to fix it. You know, her hairband needs to be back here. And it sucks. I don't want to do it, but I need to do it. Doggone it. I don't wanna. I want to be done with the hair. But it's not right. And you know, I could twist the hair a little bit, but then it's crooked and it doesn't fit his head right. So her head. He's sort of in transition, so pronouns are tricky, but yeah, all right, I'm doing it. Do you want this close up? Do you want to see, like, carving into it with an X-Acto close up? So here we go. And let's see, can I get that there? That looks like it's in focus. All right, so there she blows. So that needs, the hairband needs to come straight up from here, because you see where the hairband's going on this side. So it's starting right here, right behind the beak. I need for it to do the same thing on that side. I didn't want to have to do this, but I have to do it. I have to do it. So here it is. And here, there she blows. I'm really focusing. You can tell I've stopped talking entirely because I really, really don't want to screw this up. Okay. It is roughed in. There we go. That is the new placement of the hairband. You know, not a huge change, but boy, stuff like that is a little bit stressful, and you know it shouldn't be, because even if, you know, I ended up gouging into her and doing something horrible, I could fix it. But it's so close, and I don't want to do something that's going to cause me hours and hours of repair work at this point, especially on a piece that I really like the way that it looks. So now do some sanding to blend in my harsh X-Acto cuts, make them fit the geometry of the rest of the piece a little bit more appropriately. And we're doing it. This is happening. All right, let me show you. And and I got a yo ho ho from AJ Stinson. And there we go. There. So. All right. So we are. We're now just blending in the place where I cut the hairband back with the existing hair. And see, that's already taking shape, which is nice. I do need to do... Here's what we're going to do. We're going to roll this one. Create just kind of a natural curve there, and give that, you see how we cleaned up the curve? go. Notice also that I've given up on trying to resist my there we goes on this. Yeah, it's like I only have so much willpower to devote into what I'm doing and what I'm saying, and so when it's time to when crap gets real, then we go back to the there we goes. There she blows, matey. We'll keel-haul you and get you to walk the plank. Yeah, I have a terrible pirate. Maybe I need to watch the Pirates of the Caribbean movies again. At least the first three. I tried to watch the fourth one and, I fell asleep and just never went back to it. It just couldn't hold my interest. And was there another one? I seem to think that there was like a fifth Pirates of the Caribbean movie, which if there was, I never saw it. Alrighty. There we go. And gonna do a little bit of shaping right around here. So I'm going to change views again, because at this point I'm not really doing anything that's all that interesting to look at. I'm just sanding, doing a little bit more shaping, because at this point what I've effectively done by changing where this headband goes is I've slightly adjusted where the front of the hair is. And so I want to try and make the head sort of more uniform. Hi, sweetie. I love you too. I have a visitor. She's off camera because she doesn't want to be on camera. I had to move the hairband just a little bit. Yeah, it was scary. It was tense. There wasn't any talking. It was silence as I attacked the hair with an X-Acto. Yeah, this is coming together. I know I keep saying stuff like that, but every little victory gets me just a little bit closer. And I was feeling good after the last time that I worked on this. And I kind of thought, okay, maybe during this live stream I'm actually going to get started painting. But I really did need to do all of that fine sanding to really get it smooth and get the surfaces nice. And then I noticed the hairband problem. And I guess I didn't notice the hairband problem so much when the hair wasn't as smooth. That's the thing with any project. Like if you're working on your house, or you're modifying your car, or you're working on a project like this, everything that you do that improves it in one way highlights the stuff that needs work. And in that sense, it's easy for stuff, especially like working on your house. You never finish working on your house. I have a friend who started working on his house 20 years ago. And he does amazing work. You know, his stuff is gorgeous and his house is gorgeous. And, you know, he got to the point where he finished the last thing in the house that was left unchanged from when he moved in. Oh, do I need more? Sure. You know what? Can I have an adult hot tea? Because my throat is a little bit, you know, dry. So, you know, it takes him, I guess it wasn't like 20 years. I think that it's maybe 10, 15 years. But he finally got to the point where he had remodeled everything in the house. And then he said, you know, now I look back at the kitchen, which was the first thing that I remodeled, and I'm not satisfied anymore. And that's the way, and here's the thing, that's the reality. You do the stuff and it's so much better, and then by the time that you work your way all the way around, then what you started with is ready to be done again. So, yeah, never-ending cycle. But this project will have an end because there is a hard deadline next week. So, there. That's not so bad. Not so bad. And there's a lot of material on here that I can remove. You know what? I think I might use the heavier grit sandpaper, because at this point, you know, what I'm doing is I'm kind of sculpting again. I didn't want to be sculpting again, but I am, and I'm trying to remove material. And so when you're removing material, you want a heavier grit sandpaper, a rougher grit that can take more material off in less time. It's not as nice of a finish, which is why you then have to go in with the finer grit sandpaper. But it works so much faster. You're just going to save time that way, even though then you have to go back with the fine sandpaper and resand the surface, which is what I'm going to have to do. But it's going to be worth it. Kind of. Yeah. See what I've done here. I'll show you in just a moment. That's pretty good, I think. Okay, so what I've done here, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, I'll use the other camera. So what I've done here is, now it's hard to tell because you have this part of the hair that hangs down lower that sticks out further. But if I cover that, you see that at this point, the shape of the head is more uniform and it's coming straight up at, you know, perpendicular. Like if there was a center line going through here, before it looked like this part was sticking out further, because it kind of was. So now I've sanded that back, and now I can go in with the finer grit sandpaper. So we'll go back to the 320. And we'll sand. And once again, getting that curve. Just curling this sandpaper around and using the shape of the sandpaper to make a consistent curve. Thank you. I love you. You know, Chris, so Christopher Remley says she could be on camera a little. So, software design is that way too. So, Monica is very, very camera shy. And she doesn't want to be on camera. She's very self-conscious when she's on camera. And so... she doesn't want to do it. And I tell her that everybody loves her. I mean, honestly, you guys love her better than you like me. I love her better than I like me. I don't blame you. So, of course, but I respect her wishes, and I'm perfectly comfortable being the one in front of the camera because I'm a ham. I know that's a shock. You couldn't tell, but yeah, obviously I'm a ham, and I'm kind of used to being in front of the camera. But she doesn't want to do it, and that's okay. She doesn't have to. But she's very, very supportive behind the camera, and honestly, she's what makes this channel work. The Clay Carlino channel has, I've had it for years, and it's gotten bigger. I've got about 2,500 subscribers now, and some decent views on my videos, but nothing huge. And the growth rate on that channel is tremendously slow because I don't know how to do the things that Monica does, and it doesn't make sense to me. She navigates social media effortlessly. At least it comes off as effortlessly. She understands memes and chat and Twitter. And I just don't get that stuff. To me, social media is so much work, and I just don't like. I know that people do it because they enjoy it, but that doesn't compute. Doesn't compute at all. Because when I've tried to do social media, to me, it's just a grueling nightmare of forcing yourself to always be paying attention, and thank God that Monica understands it and is good at it, and also the whole concept for this channel is hers. She's been saying for years, as I would slave over making 6-minute videos that would get 50 views if I was lucky. She said, just turn on the camera and talk. Don't edit. Just do exactly what Retrobot is. Retrobot is her vision. In terms of content, in terms of style, it's all her. And it's something that I never thought that this could work. Just, that this whole thing, it's not the way that I use the internet. And so I just couldn't understand that like, you guys are here. And you're chatting and you're saying stuff. And you're engaged. And I don't understand how that happens. I'm grateful for it, but I don't understand it. So thank you again for doing it. And honestly, I'm okay with that. I kind of try to wear my wear my weaknesses on my sleeve. You know, I try not to pretend to be something that I'm not. I try to be honest, because lying is work. And I'm not going to say that I never lie. Everybody lies. Everybody, you know, sometimes it's just easier to lie in a situation than it is to tell the truth. Sometimes it's to save somebody's feelings. Sometimes it's because you know somebody well enough to know how they're going to react to a situation, and in order to avoid their reaction, you have to lie to them. Is it right? No, because essentially you are robbing them of the ability to respond to a situation earnestly. You're taking a choice away from them, and that's what makes it wrong. But real life, sometimes it's easier to ask forgiveness than permission. And that's just the truth of things. It's sometimes the honest way is just so problematic that you kind of have to make something up. You know? If, like, for instance, you get off work and you're tired and you just want to sit. You just want to sit, and you don't really want to do anything. You don't want to be witty. You don't want to be entertaining. And your friend calls and says, "Hey, you want to come over and hang out?" And in the past you've said, "No, I'm tired." And then they get mad at you, and they get hurt feelings, and they get passive aggressive. And so this time you decide, I don't even want to deal with it. And you make up an excuse. "Oh, I can't. Dog's sick. Oh, not tonight. Wife is mad." You know, anything. You know, whatever the case is. And I'm not saying that it's right, but I'm just saying that it does happen, and I do it too. But I try to do it to a minimum because I don't like it. I hate lying. I hate making stuff up, and I hate having to kind of keep track of something that I said that wasn't the truth, because then you have to remember it, and I'm crappy at remembering things. And I'm also a really bad liar. I am so completely unconvincing. It's kind of pathetic. I'm like a 7-year-old that has chocolate all over his face, and the cookie jar is open, and the lid is still open, is still on the countertop, and there's crumbs everywhere. And then my mom comes in and says, "Did you eat the cookies?" And I say, "No." And that's my proficiency at deception. So it's probably for the best that I don't lie often, because I suck at it. I think, okay, so oh, she's looking better. That helps. That was worth it. And it didn't take as long as I thought it was going to. I was a little bit worried that I was going to, like, cut something that I shouldn't have, but let me show you. So I'm going to adjust the camera, and there we go. Oh, I've been on the side view this whole time. So I've been talking to you like this, And I've had the side view camera on the whole time. That's the opposite of engaging. I don't think my hands were even in front of there. So anyway, so here's the side view, and look at that. She's looking kind of Della. And you see how the hairband is now. That's good. And you see how it is on that side, and that's good. That's great. That is great. So, oh yeah. Yeah. That's exciting. That's really exciting. Okay, so hair, we might be at the point where I should probably prime this before I paint it. I should probably prime all of the pieces before I paint them. So, all right. Let's look at the shorts, and I'm gonna just go to my internet view. So, here. So, okay. So there's the shorts. I could stand to make these just a little bit shorter than they are right now. Looking at that. Well, not too much shorter, but a little bit. So let's go ahead and go back to the main camera. Yeah, I think that I'm gonna just kind of score these. Okay. So, all right, I've made a couple marks on here with the X-Acto, and we're gonna make the shorts just a little bit shorter. And I'm just cutting through here and cutting through here. And now I take this off, and I guess I'm just going to go the rest of the way here. I'll put it down this way because, you know, again, this is Sculpey, and the Sculpey tends to be a little bit brittle, and it would be really easy to just break it, and that would make me unhappy. Not that I couldn't glue it back together, but I don't want to have to. There we go. And so we've got this. There we go. All right, so that's good, and that's going to allow for the knee to be shown, because the knee has a ball on it, and that's going to go right about there. So I want that to be visible underneath the short leg. You know, it seems like, at least from the picture that I'm looking at, her legs seem a little bit longer, and her butt is a little bit, you know, her hips are a little bit more narrow than Donald's. Yeah, I might need to trim these down just a little bit. Well, not too much. So, yeah, I don't know how much I want to take off of there. I might take some artistic liberties here because her shorts don't flare out quite this much. But her bomber jacket kind of, yeah, it's kind of a single line that comes from the jacket down into the shorts. And then the shorts are actually more narrow at the legs. But if I make this too thin, oh gosh, decisions are hard. I mean, realistically, the shorts should come in further, but I don't want to do that either, because I don't want to have to dig out all of this midsection. I just want to be able to paint that brown. So I think I'm going to take some artistic liberties with the shorts. That's the bottom line here. We're taking some liberties with the shorts. I'll sand them down a bit so that they're not quite as bulbous. But let's go ahead and use the file here. Go. There she blows. But notice that at this point, we're working on legs. That's an accomplishment. Yeah. So we're just taking off some material so that we'll have a little bit more of a natural line that goes from the side of the body down to the leg. And it's still going to flare out more than it does in the animation, but it'll be closer. See? Like that. That's good. Oh, gosh. So I'm going to take this piece off, and I'm going to just do some freehand filing, because I feel like it's close enough now that I know what I need to do and have it look the way that I want it to look. I mean, it is just a pair of shorts, so if I could tackle the hair, I feel like I can do the shorts. And we've got our half round file, and that's just going to put, because our shorts do a little bit of a thing at the bottom, so I'm just going to, I'm not going to make it too extreme, but I'm just going to give it a little bit of a light curve there at the pant leg. taper the leg in just a little bit. Now notice that as I'm using the file, I'm following the curve around the pant leg, and that just gives me a little bit of a better shape. You know, rather than kind of chipping away and then chipping away and chipping away, I can get some of those curves just by sweeping the file around as I remove the material. There we go. So, and now, so the bulbous part, of course, is where her butt is. You know, it's where the body is. And so at this point, yeah, I'm putting the piece back on what was once Donald. So that I can fine-tune that shape. There we go. It looks like that. Here we go. So, yeah, you can see it's got a little bit more of a natural shorts shape. That's what we want. You know, before it was ballooning out a lot. And that's just not what the character looks like. So yeah, we'll get that a little bit under control. It's looking pretty good. At least I think so. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So, other one, we'll just put that on here and we'll do some massive sanding, some filing. File under F for file. I don't know. Oh gosh. I've been up for a long time and I'm feeling like I'm starting to run out of steam, but I can't run out of steam. We got to keep pushing forward. Della needs us. Okay, so see, I've flattened that out. Now I can take this off and do my sculpting. One thing that I've noticed is that when I have pieces like these where I've got essentially two of the same piece or two very similar pieces. The first one always takes me a lot longer than the second one. Because once I figure out how I want to do it, then the second one is easy. It's like, okay, well, the decisions have been made at this point. Now just do it again. And it's fresh in my memory. So I don't have to be quite as careful. And I can just kind of go hog wild. Or in this case, go duck wild. I'm sorry. That was terrible. I'm going to drink this. Oh, that's good. Monica made me hot tea with love in it. And it seems to be just the right amount of hot tea versus love. There it is. There it is. We're filing Sculpey shorts on Della Duck. We're hoping that we're not out of luck. If that's true, we'll say, oh, fudge. If you don't know what I mean, I'll give you a nudge. That's what I need to do. I need to sing along with this smooth jazz. Even though I don't know where the melody's going. But it's jazz. Isn't that what you're supposed to do? I don't know. I don't know anything about jazz. I feel like it's skipping. Like, didn't it sound like the record was skipping? Or the CD? I think that's just the way that it's, you know, that's the style or whatever. But it sounded to me like the CD was skipping. So... There was this time at work. I should feel bad about it, but I don't. So one of the guys was playing music while we were all working, and he puts on this jazz. I guess that's what it was. It sounded to me like elevator music, and there were these trumpets that were just kind of, you know, coming in every now and then, and I swear they sounded like chickens clucking. And of course I'm doing that, and everybody on the team is just loving this. And the guy got real mad and he turned off his music and you know, I kind of feel bad because yeah, it's music is very subjective and he was sharing and then I called it chicken jazz and now chicken jazz will live in infamy amongst the people on my team. But it sounded like that. It was like this sounds like the music to a 1990s video game. You know, my characters run through the jungle, dodging monkeys and bananas and spiky things, jumping over spiky things. Ooh, there's an eagle swooping down, trying to gouge out my eyes. There's some kind of lost treasure from a tribal civilization that was destroyed thousands of years ago. Or was it? See, this is the part where you're inside the tomb, going through the underground temple levels. You know, I was into that one, and they stopped. The other one went on for like an hour. So, oh yeah. So let's go ahead and do that, and there. They're not quite so balloony now. All right. So, at this point, I need to do something. I need to make the other half of the pant leg, and I need to make it in such a way that it can still be a separate piece. And you know what? I don't know if this is gonna work, but I'm gonna try it. So I have some brown Sculpey here. And let's just pull out some brown Sculpey. We won't need much. In fact, this is going to be like 4 times more than what we need. But I got a whole brick of this stuff, so it's not like I have to be conservative with it. There. Fit into the bag better if I squish it a little. Probably help if I had the bag like the right side in. There we go. Yeah, there we go. There we go. I said it. So, here's my strategy. I'm going to take a little bit of baking soda, and I'm going to sprinkle it on the inside of the leg here. And my hope, there, so here, let's show this. So you see I've got my baking soda inside there. And I'm going to set this down. There we go, just like that. And now I've got my little piece of Sculpey right here. And what I'm going to do is I am going to just press that right in there. And my hope is that it'll conform to the shape that it needs to, but not stick. And then I can bake it and sand it the rest of the way. Look at that. Look at that. I think that worked. I think that worked, MRFer. Yeah. So there we go. we go. Oh. And yeah, I think that worked. Okay, so I can bake those. And these could use a little bit more baking too. I didn't bake them as long as I could have before because I thought I might still need to work with them. But I think at this point it's better if I bake them the rest of the way. So let's think that's right. Or am I putting these on backwards? Yes, I have them on backwards. Okay, so there. All right, so we have that, and this is the foot that's going to get removed. And we're going to remove it. This is it. This is the moment. This is the moment that you've all been waiting for. So, I think that it essentially needs to come off right there. That should make it so that once I have the shorts assembled, I can stick it in there, and there should be just enough tension to hold it securely, and it also gives us a nice sized leg. But we don't want to lose that hinge. You know, this is on a pivot. We want to keep that because we need to stick to that. So yeah, I think that I'm going to go right like that. And so here we go. I'm gonna show it close up. Are you ready? Proof positive that the leg is going to be removable. The point of no return. Oh, there it goes. So there it is. This is going to be Della's robot leg. And, you know what I could do? I've got this. You know what? It's going to be harder to paint that a nice gray. Well, it probably won't matter, but I'll still use the Sculpey. So you know what? I'm going to make. So here's what I'm going to do. First, let's go ahead and take the flare off the top of this leg, because it's going to need to go straight up in. Go. Okay, so This is way more sculpty than what I need for the ball around her leg. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it around here. And make it fit. You know what? That is... Let's try this again. All right, here, I'm gonna clean up the shape of the leg because it's wonky around the leg there. Because of course it is. It's a duck leg. It's not supposed to be perfectly round. So we're going to shape that a little. Taper the top just a hair. And here we go. We're going somewhere. Because I said so. Here we go, here we go. It's not snow that's gonna blow. Here we go, here we go. I don't know what I know. I don't know, I lost it. Okay, so just gonna plunk that right down on there. I don't like what that did to the Sculpey. So. All right, I have an idea. So the knee has a ball. So I'm going to roll this into a little ball. Got a little ball. I'm going to make a little divot. And then I will use that divot to tell me what size hole to drill after I bake this. All right. At this point, I need to put stuff in the toaster oven. So I think I'm going to sign off, and this project will continue. And I will let you know if I make more headway off camera, then I will probably do another updates video. And if not, the next time I work on it, if I can, I'll just turn on the camera again and you can see the progress. But I'm seeing a light at the end of the tunnel on this project. We have a foot that has been removed, and we have shorts that are going to have the other sides of the pant legs. And once all these parts are finished being sculpted, then it's time to paint them and paint the figure and glue things together. And then she's done. So that is really cool. And so with that being said, thank you everyone. Thank you AJ. You know, you're a trooper. You know, thank you Kyoji. You and AJ and Starhound. I see Starhound is here. Hi Starhound and Joy. I mean, you guys have all been great. I really appreciate you signing on for what has to be the boringest live stream on the face of the planet Earth. But nonetheless, thank you for sticking with me and watching as I do terrible things to Donald. But it's not, you know, soon it's not going to be Donald. You know, when I take the hair off, it's like, oh yeah, that's Donald. But yeah, we're getting close. So, reminder to everyone, as though you don't know, tomorrow night, extra special Retrobot, because it is Dawn's birthday, and we're going to be talking about Axis and Allies, and we're going to have a lot of fun with it, and he's going to try and get me really, really snockered. Just so that you know, he has stated as much that he wants me to keep up with him in terms of the adult beverages. And I don't know if you've noticed, but he has quite a bit of body mass and about 20 years more drinking experience than I do. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. It should be a really fun night, and I hope that you all can make it. And so thank you. If you like this, of course, click the thumbs up buttons, and chances are you're already subscribed. But if not, subscribe and click the notification bell so that you know when we're doing stuff. And keep your eyes open on the channel, because we have started doing a lot of midweek single shot videos that we are calling short circuits. Because, you know, it's Retrobots, we got the robots, so Short Circuits is an electronic thing. It's like a robot thing. In fact, there was a movie called Short Circuit that was about a robot, and these are short videos, so Short Circuits. You see how it's... I'm sorry, I'm a little bit slap happy, and I probably need to drink more or less. One of those things needs to happen. I'm not sure which. So, thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. I will see you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Bring your friends, bring your family, but most importantly, bring your enthusiasm for Axis and Allies and Avalon Hill. Yeah. So, have a wonderful evening, everyone. I'm doing the background music. Holy crap. Have I been on for that long?
Apparently so. You're pretty amazing.